Our story begins with a new intern, Meng Shu. He was once a fresh graduate, full of hope and ambition, but 1 week of corporate life was all it took to crush his spirit under the weight of endless code. He stares into the screen, broken and desperate. Another night of overtime blurs into the city lights. He collapses into bed, wishing for the world to end. And right on cue, a mysterious voice answers his call. His eyes snap open, sensing something has changed. A holographic screen appears, displaying his pathetic stats. He can't believe what he's seeing. But the realization hits him. A system has chosen him. With a cry of freedom, he quits on the spot. Just as a massive explosion rocks the street below, he looks out the window, seeing the chaos unfold. The aftermath is devastating, the streets littered with victims. But the fallen don't stay down for long. They rise again, driven by a terrifying new hunger. Meng Shu watches, a bead of sweat rolling down his face. He pulls back the curtain for a better view, and asks the system if this is some kind of joke. He points frantically, yelling about the obvious apocalypse. His hope shatters as a figure slams against the office door. An infected woman claws at the glass, trying to break through. He recognizes her, his despair deepening. It's the beautiful woman he'd see in the elevator. Now she's just another monster trying to get in. He grimaces, realizing his timing couldn't be worse. The system, however, sees this as a perfect opportunity. Meng Shu calmly reaches into his desk drawer. He grabs the only weapon he can find, a water cooler jug. He knows staying put is a death sentence. So he approaches the glass door. The moment he opens it, she lunges forward with a vicious kick. She stumbles to the floor, momentarily dazed. And our boy decides this is the perfect time for a friendly introduction. He nervously takes her silence as a yes, before promptly slamming the door in her face. She just sits there, seemingly confused by the whole exchange. But that confusion quickly turns into pure, unadulterated rage. She becomes a blur of fury, slamming against the glass once more. The system brutally roasts his flirting skills. But he still gets a reward, an attribute point and +10 favorability. He learns her name is Chi Wei and wonders what favorability even does. The system explains it will make her want to get closer to him. He focuses on the part about her obeying his every word. Frustrated, he realizes this system has no tutorial. He decides to figure it out himself, starting with his new stat point. He commands the system to add the point to his strength. A notification confirms his strength is now 11. A surge of power flows through him. He knows every stat point will be crucial for survival. But for now, he's prioritizing raw strength. He gathers what little supplies the office has to offer. It's not much, and he knows it won't last long. Just then, the system issues a new task: clock in for work. The reward is points and a chance to get noticed by the boss. But the time clock is on the other side of the door, right past his new very hungry admirer. The system also offers him a chance to redeem his terrible flirting skills. A bead of sweat rolls down his face as a plan forms. He realizes he can complete both tasks at once. He grabs a pair of scissors from a desk and begins crafting some makeshift armor out of paper. Fully geared up, he's ready to face the apocalypse, office style. With a deep breath, he reaches for the door. The hallway is swarming with his former, now very hungry colleagues. He dives past them, shouting a desperate confession to Chi Wei. He promises her dinner, a mortgage, and a lifetime of cheesy pickup lines. She just stands there, seemingly processing his bizarre proposal. The system, however, is not impressed by his second attempt. His favorability with her drops into the negative. She gives him a look of pure, unadulterated disgust. Our boy can only offer a strained, awkward smile in return. But his shouting has been overheard by other survivors. 2 of his colleagues watch from a nearby office, utterly confused. His manager simply concludes that Meng Shu has finally lost his mind. But he can't figure out why the infected Chi Wei isn't attacking him. Seeing an opportunity, he plots to use Meng Shu as a distraction. Meanwhile, Meng Shu has made it to the time clock. He scans his card, officially clocking in for the day. But a noise from the manager's office catches his attention. The system confirms his task is complete with a painfully average rating. He gets 5 points and the special attention of his boss. Lucky him. The points open up a system shop with a few basic supplies. He knows Chi Wei won't attack, but the others are a different story. Just as he plans his retreat, a voice calls out to him. His manager peeks out, asking him to lure Chi Wei away. Meng Shu glares back, remembering the overtime he was forced to work just last night. But Meng Shu puts on a brave face, offering to help his leader. The manager's smile is anything but grateful, and in a flash, Meng Shu slams the door shut. The manager desperately offers a promotion, praising his distraction skills, but he's failed to notice the threat looming right behind him. Meng Shu just smirks, calling his boss a joker. The system chimes in with a new rule: Never go against your boss. A wicked idea begins to form in Mengshu's mind. He sarcastically suggests they all return to their own office to work. The manager and his colleague realize Mengshu is completely unhinged. They frantically try to hold the door against him. The manager screams for his colleague to help barricade the entrance. But their combined strength is no match for our boy. With a single kick, Mengshu blasts the door open. He stands over his terrified boss, offering a cheerful good morning. Then he waves goodbye, announcing he's off to work. He leaves the two men sitting in stunned silence. They can't believe what just happened. But they have a more immediate problem to deal with. Shiwei's gaze locks onto her new prey. She lunges forward, a blur of deadly speed. Her attack is swift and merciless. Mengshu calmly closes the door to his own office. He listens to the screams from the other side. He remains completely unfazed by the carnage. The system gives him a perfect rating for his unique approach to workplace dynamics. He's even unlocked a hidden achievement, Gen Z reforming the workplace. His reward is 5,000 cash and a suggestion to buy his colleagues barbecue. Yeah, that'll fix it. Mengshu just grins, happy with his newfound source of income. But his celebration is cut short by a new notification. It's a job recommendation letter from the system. Mengshu is ecstatic, thinking he can finally choose a cool profession. His reward is the glamorous new profession of flyer distributor. He questions the timing, given the zombie-filled streets outside. He sarcastically asks what he's supposed to be advertising. The system offers him 3 exclusive tasks to choose from. He quickly adapts, choosing the easiest option for the best rewards. The system, ever the motivational speaker, scolds him for his work ethic. A new screen displays his occupations and the path to leveling up. Mengshu rises, accepting that every journey begins with a single step. He knows this ridiculous system is his only hope for survival. He grabs a stack of flyers for the swimming club. With a new sense of purpose, he declares it's time to get to work. He steps out into the hallway where Chi Wei is waiting. He tries to speak to her, and his favorability immediately plummets. He tries again, only to lose even more points with his former crush. His face contorts in horror as the negative numbers pile up. He laments that she's judging him too superficially. He offers a friendly wave, which does nothing to help his case. His attention is drawn to the manager's office, where a new zombie has been made. He calmly lectures his former boss about workplace fairness. With a wicked grin, he approaches his new potential customers. He launches into his sales pitch because customer service is key, even in an apocalypse. The system dings him for his customers' rude behavior as they try to attack him. He gently places a flyer in the hand of his fallen colleague. He tells them they need to find new employment to accumulate good karma. He laments that his colleague's lack of legs might hinder his job prospects. He turns his attention to the 2 remaining zombies. He announces he's taking them with him to clear the building. Elsewhere, someone scrolls through their phone, oblivious to the chaos. She scrolls through news reports from 6 days ago. Hiding in a small room, a woman weeps in despair. She wonders how the world fell apart so quickly. Suddenly, a foot kicks the door to a nearby office. She covers her mouth in terror, realizing they've found her. But it's just Mengshu clearing the floor room by room. He continues his sales pitch to the empty office. The hiding woman is completely baffled by the noise. She can't comprehend his talk of quality customers. With trembling hands, she locks her own door. Through the glass, she sees the source of the commotion. She peeks out, her eyes wide with disbelief. Mengshu explains his fitness club is perfect for zombies. He tells his undead companions they need to be more competitive. He offers them the chance to become the Zombie King, a truly inspiring leader. The woman can only stare, frozen in place. She's convinced she's finally lost her mind. She can't believe someone is walking zombies on a leash. She begins typing a final message, documenting the absurdity. Meanwhile, Mengshu decides his 2 companions are no longer useful. He holds the leashes, ready to continue his mission alone. He reflects on his strategy of using them as guide dogs. He finds a bag of supplies left on a desk. Taking a break, he's proud of handing out over 200 flyers. He pulls up his system screen to check his progress. His occupations are maxed out at level 0, ready for an upgrade. He chooses to level up his glamorous flyer distributor profession. The system confirms his promotion to level 1. He gains a few stat points and a new skill, read people. He learns it's a basic recon skill, much to his disappointment. He kicks back and enjoys a snack, feeling pretty good about himself. The world outside may be burning, but Mengshu remains completely unbothered by the apocalypse. He figures the zombies inside are more than enough to meet his quota. No need to venture into the dangerous streets just yet. He tests out his new read people skill on a fallen colleague. The system reveals a favorability of -100. He complains that his undead companions are still ungrateful. But then, a brilliant idea strikes him. He offers them a special bone-breaking discount. But his potential customers don't seem interested. In fact, his sales pitch seems to have made things worse. With a swift motion, he puts the unruly customer down. The zombie collapses to the floor, its rampage cut short. But he never misses a chance to make a sale. Customer service is key. He turns his attention to the next office over. He uses his skill again, but these zombies are different. Unlike his companions, they don't have a level or favorability rating. He muses that his two companions must be special. He tries to have a heart-to-heart with them. He concludes that he's the only normal one here. You know, a model employee. Deciding they've served their purpose, he unties their leashes. It's time to get back to work after all. Just then, the system issues a new, surprisingly mundane task. He has to negotiate parking with a Supervisor Lin on the 11th floor. He heads towards the elevators, but stops, a new plan forming in his mind. He claims he's too scared to go alone, so he's bringing his colleagues along for moral support. With his undead entourage in tow, he sets off for the 11th floor. He charges down the hallway, his undead colleagues in tow. He offers some unconventional words of encouragement. The path to the 11th floor is crawling with the infected, but Mungshu just grins, ready for the challenge. He unleashes his companions on the unsuspecting horde. The infected swarm them from all sides. But our boy is more than prepared for a fight. He moves with a newfound strength and confidence. The onslaught is relentless, but he cuts them down one by one. His focus is absolute, his movements precise. He leaves a trail of defeated foes in his wake. At last, he reaches his destination. He senses movement on the other side of the door, so he makes a rather loud entrance and is greeted by yet another hungry colleague. He deals with the welcome party without breaking a sweat. Inside, two survivors stare back in utter terror. He calmly steps over the body and asks for Supervisor Lin. He introduces himself, here to discuss the parking situation. He reminds them of their afternoon meeting. Punctuality is key, after all. The system praises his wolf-like ferocity and rewards him with a perfect rating for his performance. He gets cash, points, and another precious attribute point. With the task complete, he decides it's time to scavenge. He unties the leashes from his makeshift spear. He leaves his two colleagues securely bound while he works. He checks the time, surprised at his own efficiency. He realizes he's been completely brainwashed by corporate life. Deciding to take a break, he finds a soda. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure watches the city burn, concluding the attack is worldwide. Back in the office, Mungshu decides to use his newly acquired attribute point. He once again pours it into strength, bringing his total to a respectable 12. With his stats settled, he turns his attention to his job professions. His system screen shows he has enough experience to level up. He knows Flyer Distributor raises agility, but he's curious about his other, less glamorous job. Deciding to diversify, he allocates all his points to level up his clerk profession. The promotion grants him a boost to spirit and constitution and a brand new skill. A skill that perfectly captures his old work ethic, slacking off. The ability makes him less noticeable, a perfect tool for scavenging with his two undead colleagues. But the system immediately hits him with a new daily task: work diligently. He collapses in despair, realizing there's no escaping the corporate grind even in an apocalypse. Resigned to his fate, he sits down at his old desk and powers on the computer. And so he begins another day of soul-crushing work. After a hard day's whatever that was, the system announces it's time to clock out. He stretches, exhausted from the grueling task of pretending to have a job. He dutifully scans his card, officially ending his shift. His reward for this pointless exercise is a fat stack of cash. He stares at the money, wondering what good it is at the end of the world. The system explains it's for a lottery, with a guaranteed prize for the first 10 draws. His eyes light up, a gotcha addict in the making. He immediately goes for the 10 pull. The system begins the draw. He wins some basic supplies, a suit, a wrench, and a bodyguard-type talent. He's baffled by the strange new item. The system explains it will summon a potential bodyguard nearby for him to recruit. He realizes this doesn't guarantee a loyal follower, just an opportunity. Still, he decides to use it, hoping to find a powerful ally. While enjoying his lottery-won noodles, a new idea begins to form. He'll work overtime, improve his skills, and become his own boss. The corporate brainwashing is now complete. He imagines a future of wealth and power. But for now, he's just a guy enjoying his instant noodles. A new notification flashes on his screen. The system alerts him to intruders and issues a new task: protect company property. A dark smile spreads across his face. The corporate brainwashing is now absolute. Elsewhere, two men flee down a hallway. The larger man blames a woman's scream for attracting the infected. He laments their lost food and orders his partner to scavenge the building. In the stairwell, he tells the blonde man to go first, claiming he'll cover him. The blonde man sees right through the lie but complies. He draws a knife ready for whatever lies ahead, but he freezes halfway up the stairs. He thinks he hears footsteps, fearing more zombies. The leader dismisses his concerns, eager to find other survivors to prey on. The blonde man cautiously peeks around the corner. His eyes widen in shock at what he sees. It's Mengshu calmly waiting for them with a friendly hello. The man stumbles backward, completely caught off guard. He reports back that it's just one skinny office worker. Mengshu puts on a cheerful act, asking why they're trespassing. He complains about the poor security, vowing to switch management companies. His unimpressed expression says it all. He then threatens them with legal action, holding up his wrench. The two intruders are utterly bewildered by his bizarre lecture. The leader scoffs, telling Mengshu he knows nothing of the world outside. He raises his bat, tired of the games. Mengshu's smile fades, his patience finally wearing thin. He suddenly yells for his colleagues, Chi Wei and the manager, to hurry up. The leader orders his partner to take Mengshu down quickly. The two men charge forward, ready to end this strange encounter. The blonde man's knife flies through the air, but Mengshu easily parries the attack with his wrench. The leader can only watch as his partner is sent flying. Mengshu looms over him, declaring his absolute authority. The leader grips his bat, his knuckles turning white. He acknowledges Mengshu's skill, but his patience is gone. His eyes narrow, ready to end this. But his confidence shatters as Mengshu reveals his colleagues. Our boy calmly explains his commitment to workplace safety. He stands with his undead entourage, completely unfazed. He's clearly been waiting for this moment his whole life. His two companions stare blankly ahead. The leader's face contorts in pure terror. He finally realizes what he's up against. The blonde man scrambles to his feet, trying to escape, but the leader abandons him without a second thought. Mengshu declares that the trespassers must face justice. He points dramatically, ordering his colleagues to attack, but his undead colleagues seem to have missed the memo. He realizes they're still disgusted by him. The leader stops his partner from fleeing. He grabs him, demanding to know what's going on. He questions why the zombies aren't attacking Mengshu. Mengshu begins his slow descent down the stairs. He approaches them, his undead companions in tow. He announces he's done pretending to be a normal person. The leader orders his partner to test the zombies. His partner surprisingly isn't keen on being a test subject. Trapped, the leader considers jumping from the third floor, but the horde of infected below makes that impossible. The leader swings his bat, as Mengshu calmly declares this is self-defense. But his target isn't Mengshu, it's the lunging zombie manager. Mengshu simply watches from the stairs, a smirk on his face. The leader brings his bat down with all his might, but the manager catches the weapon in his teeth. The man strains, unable to believe what he's seeing. Just then, a wrench flies through the air, shattering the bat and sending the leader to the ground. As his undead colleague handles the intruder, Mengshu complains about the mess. He lectures the blonde man about the sanctity of public safety. He then threatens to send his colleague after him if he dares to run. The blonde man can only stare back in absolute terror. He collapses, convinced he's being bullied by a psycho with zombie minions. Mengshu mooses that he might have gone a bit overboard. He stands over the fallen leader and offers to call an ambulance for him. He then tells the blonde man to call the police, promising to see him in court. Mengshu grows impatient with the man's hesitation. The blonde man finally snaps, screaming that he's run into a madman. He tearfully confesses everything to the police, blaming his partner for everything. Mengshu looks on, coldly stating that apologies are meaningless without justice. He tells the man to get lost, as he can't be bothered to deal with him. He then helpfully suggests the third-floor window, assuring him the fall won't be fatal. The blonde man takes his advice and makes a desperate leap. He plummets towards the zombie-infested streets below. Mengshu inspects the leader's body, noting the serious injuries.
He decides to leave the man in the caring hands of Chi Wei.
With a cheerful wave, he announces it's time to get back to work. The stairwell falls into a grim silence. Back in the office, the day continues as if nothing happened. Mengshu grabs more flyers, ready for his next task. A new notification pops up, explaining his undead colleague's change of heart. Mengshu erupts in a fit of chibi rage, demanding to know who told them to like him. He decides he has to talk them out of it immediately. But before he can, another system prompt catches his eye. The system issues a new long-term task: start a business. He immediately pictures himself running a successful food stall for the apocalypse, but the thought of zombie hygiene quickly kills that dream. The system, undeterred, issues another task. Build a rival company and crush the competition. Meng Shu can only facepalm at the sheer absurdity of it all, but a wicked grin soon spreads across his face as he accepts the challenge. He lays out his new corporate strategy, starting with some aggressive restructuring. With a determined step, he heads for the rival company's office. He stands before the entrance with his undead entourage, ready for a hostile takeover. He leaps into the fray, wrench held high. With swift, brutal efficiency, he begins to clear the floor. He stands victorious amidst the aftermath of his work. His simple wrench has become a surprisingly effective tool. The office is now littered with his downsized colleagues. He proudly announces he's fired at least a dozen people. Wiping his hand on a fallen zombie, he decides that's enough for one day. He admires his now spotless weapon. A job well done, if he does say so himself. He rounds up the few survivors he's found, announcing it's time to move. Elsewhere, behind a closed door, someone waits in silence. A woman sits on the floor of a bathroom stall, weak with hunger. She wonders where the person who was supposed to help her has gone. Tears stream down her face as she begs for him to hurry. Suddenly, she hears Meng Shu's voice outside, launching into a sales pitch. She listens in stunned silence as he talks about real estate. Her disbelief turns to horror as she realizes he's trying to sell a house to the zombies. With a trembling hand, she reaches for the door. She cries out in relief, thinking her savior has arrived. Peeking through the crack in the stall, her eyes widen in absolute shock. She sees Meng Shu fighting off the horde outside. She reaches out a desperate hand. As another zombie lunges at her hero, but Meng Shu dispatches it with a single brutal strike. He calmly tells the undead to form an orderly queue. He leaps through the air, a blur of motion. The woman can only watch, stunned by the violence. He lands amidst the fallen, his spear held ready. He brushes back his hair, not even breaking a sweat. She can't believe what she's seeing, questioning if he's even human. Meng Shu's gaze is cold and focused. The woman is frozen in place, utterly terrified. His footsteps echo as they approach her hiding spot. He stops right outside her door and offers her a full range of professional services. The system confirms his clerk profession has leveled up. The woman timidly asks if he's actually alive. Meng Shu is just thrilled to have found a living customer. He leads her into a nearby law firm. She nervously introduces herself, trying to make sense of the situation. She begins to ask a legal question for a friend. As Meng Shu sits with his undead colleagues, looking like a mob boss, he leans forward with a predatory grin. Her mind shatters, wondering how he can control zombies. She clutches her head, overwhelmed by fear. Meng Shu grows impatient, demanding she get to the point. The system confirms his success, rewarding him with cash, points, and a level up. He offers a satisfied smile, pleased with the outcome. He turns to the terrified woman, confirming her name is Shen Zhaozhao, because even in an apocalypse, you never miss a chance to upsell. Overwhelmed by his kindness, she begins to cry. But his friendly demeanor vanishes as he asks about payment. She looks back, completely bewildered by the question. He calmly explains that his professional services aren't free. The other survivor is moved to tears by this display of capitalism. He even agrees that Meng Shu is absolutely right. Seeing an opportunity, Meng Shu offers her a position in his new company. She weighs her options, realizing he's her best chance at survival. With a formal bow, she eagerly accepts his offer. The system then lays out the mountain of paperwork required to start a business. Meng Shu can't believe he has to deal with bureaucracy at the end of the world. Resigned, he tells his new employee it's time to head to their new office. The other man nervously agrees, now a part of the team. He offers her a soda, a small gesture of welcome. He proudly announces the name of their new venture, Peace and Order. His first employee seems to approve of the choice. Meng Shu looks out over the city, feeling like a true captain of industry. Shen Zhaozhao cheers on her new, incredibly strange boss, but her admiration is cut short by a rumbling stomach. He points to a stash of instant noodles, the company's first employee perk. Her eyes light up, overjoyed by the simple meal. She digs in without a moment's hesitation. A single tear of joy rolls down her cheek. She's completely overwhelmed, experiencing true happiness for the first time in days. Meng Shu watches her, a plan already forming. He then assigns her first task, spreadsheets and paperwork in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. He leans in, asking about her proficiency with spreadsheets. He then introduces her to her new colleagues, Qi Wei and Zhang Tao. She stares in horror at the two zombies behind the glass. Meng Shu casually explains they're the new, very dedicated security team. He warns her to keep her distance unless she wants to be part of a workplace lawsuit. She imagines a gruesome end, wondering if this is all just a fever dream. Meng Shu snaps her out of it, telling her to get back to work. She eagerly agrees, ready to prove her worth to her new boss. As she types away, the system confirms her new employment status. Mengshu smirks, seeing the potential in his first hire. He tells her he's heading out to file the necessary paperwork. She's already feeling the pressure of this very legitimate end-of-the-world startup. He gives her one last order: greet the new talent he's expecting. He's confident his business empire is about to take off. The system confirms his startup is a success, showering him with rewards. With his new funds secured, he prepares to leave the office. His eyes burn with ambition as he decides to use his new attribute point. A surge of golden energy flows through him. His physique grows even stronger, and he's officially unlocked the chairman profession. His strength stat is now a formidable 14, and his total assets have grown significantly. He smiles, pleased with his progress and new skills. He dreams of leading his company to the Fortune 500. Meanwhile, Shen Zhaozhao is already deep in the corporate grind. She frantically messages a group chat, begging for help. Her fingers fly across the keyboard in a panic. The stress of her new job is clearly getting to her, especially with her two undead colleagues just outside. She breaks down in tears, completely overwhelmed. Her desperate messages fill the chat, unanswered. Mengshu arrives in the parking garage, ready for his next assignment. A foot steps out from behind a sleek red car. He walks between the vehicles, phone in hand. The moment he touches the car, a new task appears: rideshare driver. A horde of zombies reflects in the window, as the system advises him to be polite. The infected immediately lunge forward to attack. Mengshu greets them with a wide, unsettling smile. He swings his spear, sarcastically greeting his former colleagues. A group of survivors watches the scene unfold in absolute terror. He takes down another zombie with brutal efficiency. He offers a friendly smile, recognizing another familiar face. The terrified survivors turn and flee from the chaos. But Mengshu leaps after them, not yet finished with his work. His spear drips with the dark aftermath of the fight. He looks down at his handiwork with a grim expression. Standing over the fallen, he complains about how exhausting work is. He laments that his job would be so much easier if the zombies didn't attack. He surveys the scene, wondering if anyone even needs a rideshare anymore. He leans against the car, questioning the logic of his new profession. Inside the vehicle, a hand grips the steering wheel. The engine roars to life, and the car speeds out of the garage, leaving him behind. Elsewhere, a man desperately searches for medicine. He finds only empty bottles. He slams his hands on the counter in frustration. His face is a mask of pure desperation. In a nearby room, a woman tends to a sick child. The thermometer confirms a dangerously high fever, and their medicine is gone. The woman breaks down, sobbing in despair. The man can only watch, helpless and afraid. With a heavy heart, the man tells his wife he's going out. The thermometer shatters, a symbol of their breaking hope. She begs him not to go, terrified of the world outside. But he insists it's a risk they have to take for their child. He entrusts their daughter to her care and steps into the unknown. The sick child weakly calls out for her father. He ventures into a city of ruins teeming with the undead. After just a short run, he's already exhausted. He leans against a car, catching his breath and cursing his age. Suddenly, he hears a desperate cry for help. Another survivor is being chased, pleading for his life. The man in red leaps towards him, seeking safety. But the father trips him without a second thought. Survival of the fittest, I guess. He follows up with a brutal kick, sealing the man's fate. The decoy is down and the zombies have a new target. The man in red can only beg for mercy as the horde closes in. The father collapses to the ground, the weight of his actions hitting him. His eyes are filled with a grim determination. But his sacrifice was in vain, as the infected now turn their attention to him. He closes his eyes, accepting his end is near. Just then, the roar of an engine cuts through the silence. A sleek red car plows through the horde, clearing a path. The man looks up, stunned and covered in the aftermath. Behind the wheel sits Mengshu, looking entirely unbothered. He pulls up and offers the man a ride, ever the professional. The system rewards him for his first customer and details his new, very expensive payroll. Mengshu internally panics over the salaries he promised, especially to his undead staff. Elsewhere, the new talent he's expecting lets out a sudden sneeze. She sits at a desk, looking utterly exhausted and overwhelmed, and it's no wonder with her two new colleagues staring her down. He asks his new passenger about his destination. The man explains he's an HR manager, desperate to find medicine for his sick child. He claims he sold his car because of the bad economy. Mengshu laments that he, as CEO, has to drive a rideshare just to make payroll. The father is completely baffled by this bizarre complaint. Mengshu then switches gears, offering the man a job at his company. The offer includes room, board, and a less than generous salary. He explains he's heading to file paperwork and can drop him off on the way. The father decides that living miserably is better than dying and accepts. He asks to head to the pharmacy first, sealing the deal. Meng Shu grabs him, a little too excited for a friendly chat. The man can feel his own sanity beginning to fray.